What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the DNVR Rockies Podcast, brought to you by Bet365. Use code DNVR365. When you sign up, choose your offer and find out why it is never ordinary with Bet365. We've got a great day here in the DNVR world right now. A lot of events kicking off this weekend. It's football is back starting yesterday. We've got the CU Buffs on the road right now, and we did have a surprise call in, although we don't know if this is intentional. Tiff, are they still live streaming? RG is on the DNVR road trip right now, and they're live streaming. I think they thought they were live streaming, but happened to call into the DNVR Rockies show.
I hung up on them.
You hung up on them.
We can definitely, you could see the beautiful view of Nebraska.
I don't know if RG meant to call into the DNVR Rockies show with this amazing content out in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska.
Yeah,
from the road.
I don't know if they mean.
See, look, there it is.
To call in right now.
But on this trip
was just
to Nebraska,
minutes ago.
This is a live feed from RG. I don't know if he realizes he's calling into the DNVR Rockies show, and I appreciate RG for showing that to us.
There they go.
No, we're back. We're back. You've gotten an answer. We have this.
He was trying to call Alyssa on the bus.
Okay. And in turn, they made their appearance onto the DNVR Rockies show.
So
we're all a big family here. So, and to be completely honest, I'm a little jealous that they get to be on a road trip right now. I was telling you off air that, if they were meaning to call in and they wanted to just do a little, from the road segment, my first question would have been, can we get that bus for spring training next year? I think a nice DNVR Rockies road trip to Arizona would be pleasant in my eyes.
I agree. I think if we could just make it the DNVR bus.
Yes.
Although
I don't know if they would like the financials of that.
No,
I think
not.
from an on-air standpoint, that sounds like very nice.
Maybe this is what we do with the super chat money.
Yeah.
It used to go to the DNVR Yacht Fund.
Yes, yachts in Colorado, always.
Maybe it's the bus.
Yes. Our version of yacht is just a land yacht. It's an RV. And if you aren't following along on Twitter though, guys, get over there because whether you like the Buffs or not, it is some A+ content. I know RG was going through trying to name the bus, and he had a couple different clever names of what they would be naming this bus. So it seems like they're having a lot of fun out there. Yeah. Unfortunate for us, we're all stuck here in this little home that we call Colorado.
For us, we're stuck in Colorado while they're in Nebraska.
They're out in Nebraska. Gosh, I've heard that's the most beautiful place in America. Anyways, we've got a Rocky show to do and some good stuff to talk about. It is nice to get a chance to, have a handful of different sports back in our airwaves, and got to see a good football game yesterday. And I will say, Tiff, though, I don't know if you feel the same way about this, and I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, but this just goes to any football game that I watched. As I've gotten older, I've started to feel like I enjoy watching football from home. I have no desire to go to the games. Like watching the game in Kansas City last night, it looked like they're just so, maybe this is just a hot take, but there's so many people. Traffic was probably insane. In the middle of winter, it's freezing cold. Is it just me, or am I in the minority of people who would much rather watch and consume football from the comfort of my own couch?
Yes.
I feel like that's reasonable, and I feel like baseball's the opposite. Where if I love baseball, and I'll watch baseball because A, it's my job, and also I do enjoy baseball. But I normally would have no desire to just sit down and watch 9 innings of baseball intently every single inning. But I would love to go to a game. I love going to baseball games in person. And so I think it's funny because it's it's flipped, I will sit down and watch intently every single second of a Denver Broncos game on TV, but I really have no desire to go physically to Empower Field and watch a game in person.
No, I think I have way more desire to go to our tailgates and hang out and then go home. Yeah,
and then go home and watch the game.
Yeah,
I'm not saying don't watch the game, but watch it from a much more comfortable vantage point. Have you tried to find parking near Empower Field or get out of there, get onto what is that? I-25 like after the game. Like it's insane. And with the Rockies, like you go to a game at Coors Field, it's chill. People just like, I was leaving the game the other day and it was like the 5th inning. And there was this group of people that was just, I'm assuming, walking around the city and saw that there was a baseball game happening. And they walked up to the ticket desk and got like $5 tickets and just went in and watched the last 4 innings of the game. Like, it's so chill. So I just thought that was an interesting point. I enjoyed watching the Chiefs-Ravens game, a good game last night from the comfort of my own couch. And I'm going to be pumped up to watch some Bo Nix this weekend against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. The Buffs playing tomorrow. It's a good day in the world of sports here in Colorado. But let's get into the Rockies here, because I know that's why you guys are here. We got a new Major League Baseball debut taking place for the Rockies. Jaden Hill getting called up, the right-handed pitcher. He is going to be the 12th person to make his Major League debut on this Colorado Rockies organization this year. We were hoping that we would see him a little bit yesterday, maybe, get his first relief appearance of the year in front of his friends and family who had came in, made the trip from Tennessee. I believe from Louisiana. Nope. Last answer. Arkansas. That's where he's from.
Final answer.
One of those states, from Arkansas. But family making the trip over from Arkansas to watch him play in Atlanta. They did not get to see him pitch, thanks to our good friend Austin Gomber, who decided to pitch the game of his life. And so his family now has to, unfortunately, get on a plane or maybe a bus of their own and take the trip now to Milwaukee to hopefully watch him play. That's the hard thing about when, you're related to someone or have a friend or family who is potentially making their MLB debut from the bullpen. You never know when they're going to play. You have to buy like 7 tickets just because you're like, are they going to get in today? Is today going to be the day? You go show up and it's like, oh man, Austin Gomber went 8 innings of shutout baseball and, we didn't get to see him. Okay, let's go to Milwaukee. Or is he going to pitch from Milwaukee? Maybe not. Like you just never know what you're going to get. It's different when you have, someone who gets called up to be starting in left field and you're like, okay, I kind of know when they're going to be playing. Like you can kind of get a vibe from the player themselves when they're going to be playing. When you're coming in relief, you have no idea when your debut is going to be. So I would imagine that like mentally as well for both the family and also the pitcher. Jaden Hill, I mean, he's there and he's about to make his Major League debut, something he's trained his entire life for. And you have to sit there in the bullpen just waiting, and waiting. I mean, we all know waiting is the worst possible thing when you're waiting for this, once in a lifetime moment to kind of get that out of the way. And I remember I talked to Drew Romo before he made his MLB debut. And I remember him saying, like, I just kind of want to get this out of the way. Like, I'm trying to enjoy it. My family's here. My friends are here. Like, everyone flew in from California where Romo's from. He's like, I'm trying to just get this out of the way so I could focus on like actually playing baseball moving forward. Like there's all these nerves associated with like making your MLB debut. And then from that point on, it's just, it's just part of the game. So hopefully we get to see Jaden Hill making his debut here soon in the Brewers series. But let's introduce you to Hill. He was born December 22nd, 1999. He's from Arkansas. Going to clarify that for you. He went to Louisiana State University before he was drafted in the 2nd round in the 2021 draft by the Rockies. He is the 20th ranked prospect in the Rockies system. He's had some success, more success at the AA level than he has at the AAA level. But I will say, and they said it on the broadcast yesterday, when you're looking and evaluating pitchers in the minor league level, you don't want to get too granular on stats. He had a 10 ERA at the AAA level in just a few games. You want to look at more of his stuff. How does he fit into your roster? What is his confidence levels looking like? Is he going to fill a gap that you need filled in your roster today? And for the Rockies, I think he's a good prospect for that. He's the 20th ranked prospect, and the Rockies just want to see what he's made of. If he can get up there and throw some good quality innings, that's all you're looking for right now. You're not really trying to get big wins off of him. You're not trying to go have him save you ball games. You're just looking to give him an opportunity to get a taste of big league ball early in his career, to where in the future years, in the coming years, when the Rockies hopefully are making improvements and are competing for a wild card in the coming years, maybe in best case scenario, he can have already kind of maybe gotten some of that early career jitters out of the way at the big league level. Jaden Hill is going to be wearing number 0. He's the first player since Adam Ottavino in 2012 to 2018 to wear number 0. So a little nostalgic throwback to our friend Adam Ottavino. And it's cool. I always think it's interesting seeing a guy wear the number 0, especially from a pitching standpoint. So Jaden Hill will be taking over that number. Hopefully he can live up to the standards that Adam Ottavino left for us back in that 2012 to 2018 era. It was a good time to be a Colorado Rockies fan back in 2012 to 2018. And Jaden Hill, just another addition to this Rockies lineup as we get going. But hey, before we continue on, we've got some good stuff to talk about here in just a moment, but we got to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time. There has never been a better time to be a fan of any sport, any live event than right now, because with the Game Time app, it's easier and cheaper to find great seats at any live event at the click of a button. So whether you're going to a baseball game, going to a concert. I know we've got some big concerts this weekend coming up at Coors Field. We've got Def Leppard, Journey, Kane Brown. Marissa's going out to the Kane Brown concert tonight. Like it's a good time to be getting out and just enjoying some of that last outdoor concerts. Red Rocks wrapping up their concert series over the next few months in all those outdoor venues here, and then also sports. I mean, we've got some great sports in front of us. The Broncos, the Rockies still playing good baseball, towards the end of the season, or at least good in the sense that we're getting to see a lot of their prospects. So you got to check out the Game Time app. The Game Time has this new features called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets even easier. It filters out all the extra stuff, gives you some a view of what your seats are going to look like. So, if you're going to see a concert this weekend and you maybe haven't been to a concert at Coors Field yet, you get to see where your seats are going to be looking, where the concert venue is, where the stage is going to be. It's got all-in pricing. It's got the lowest price guarantee. So as you get closer to that event, the tickets get lower, the prices get lower. It's got a ton of good stuff. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, Bet365, another one of our amazing sponsors. We cannot thank them enough because they are so much fun, not just for us as a company, but also, as the normal sports fan. And this is a great time to be getting involved in the bets. We had our bets show come back yesterday. Dre on the bets show, he was holding it down. I haven't done the bets show yet. Tiff, have you ever produced the bets show?
Oh yeah, I produced it yesterday.
You produced it yesterday, okay.
Yep.
Dre seemed fired up about that.
Yes.
He's always fired up.
Dre is a degenerate when it comes to gambling. So if there are picks you're looking for, like secret parlays, Dre's got your back on those.
It is a mastermind. It takes a mastermind to be as in-depth in the analysis of betting like Dre is.
He's a psycho. He is
a psycho, yes. And I have a couple friends like that, and it's very impressive. But look, you don't have to be a Dre to understand how to bet with Bet365. Bet365 makes it super simple. They make it very efficient. It's streamlined, and they've got a couple great deals going on right now. If you open an account at Bet365 using code DNVR365, you sign up, you deposit $10, and you can choose between either a bet and get offer by placing a bet of $5 or more and getting $200 in bonus bets, or first bet safety net offer by placing a bet of up to $1,000. And if your qualifying bet loses, you receive a matched refund in bonus bets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem or wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's talk Austin Gomber. Gomber had himself a hell of a day yesterday. He went 8 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He was fired up, too, on that 8th inning. And I thought it was interesting. And if you guys are hanging out with us in the Toyota chat, I want you to let me know what you think. But on the broadcast, I was listening, since these games are on the road, I was listening to Drew Goodman and Spilborz. Also, happy birthday, Spilly. It was his birthday yesterday. And they were talking about Gomber and whether or not he was going to continue. And they seemed to be in the mindset, and granted, I would have been the same way too if I was the broadcaster, but they were expecting him, I think, to go the 9th inning. And I was expecting Gomber to go the ninth inning. His pitch count was down. I think he had 97 pitches, which isn't bad, especially in today's day and age. 97 pitches through 8 innings is not bad. You can get out of a ninth inning 115 pitches and 120 pitches, and that's fine. And so I fully expected Bud Black to leave Austin Gomber in there. And especially when I saw how fired up he was at the end of that 8th inning. He got that last strikeout, his 6th strikeout in the 8th inning, and he was yelling. He was dropping F-bombs. He was fired up out there on the mound, which you love to see because the Rockies have been eliminated from playoff contention. And so, you got to find ways to build some confidence in some of these guys. Austin Gomber's had some ups and downs this season. Hasn't had the season that he wanted in the full context of where he wants to be. And so to see him fired up, you think they're going to give him that last inning. And I fully thought that based on his reaction, the energy that he had out there, that they would give him that last inning. But in turn, they ended up going with Tyler Kinley. Now, Bud Black went with Tyler Kinley for that last inning. We all know what Tyler Kinley has done in 9th innings. He's not the most confident and consistent person that I feel, to be thrown out there in the 9th inning. Not to say Tyler Kinley has anything wrong with him. He's had some blown saves. Specifically that big comeback that happened, a week or so ago that he gave up in that 9th inning with Shiviji kind of giving up that home run. I actually don't remember who that. It was the Marlins. It was the Marlins game that he gave up that huge comeback. But I heard Bud Black talking after the game because I believe it was Kelsey Wingert asked him after the game, hey, why did you take Austin Gomber out when Gomber was pitching so well? And Bud Black said, yeah, I think he kind of left it all out there on the field. He was, he was fired up and he kind of blew through that last energy in that 8th inning. I kind of disagree with that. And I mean, Bud Black's a pitcher. He's been around the league for a long time, a lot longer than I have. So he knows better than I do. But I was a pitcher going through college, and as a competitor, like that energy carries over into the 9th inning. You've pitched 8 innings of phenomenal baseball against an incredibly talented offensive juggernaut team in the Atlanta Braves, and you get that 6th strikeout in the 8th inning, and you're feeling great. You're feeling on top of the world. You don't get the crash or the hangover until after the game, right? You're rolling into that momentum into the 9th inning. Now, if you go into the 9th inning and you walk a guy, maybe give up a hit, they were only up by 2 at that point, then fine. Then maybe you feel a little gassed at that point. Maybe that adrenaline wears off and now you're starting to stress. Then it's time to get the pitcher out of there. But if I'm Bud Black, I'm letting Gomber go back out there and say, you have at least, you're batter to batter. You're going 1 by 1. If you get that first batter out, we'll let you get the second batter out. If you get that second batter out, we'll let you take the third batter. If that first batter gets on base, you're done. And I think that's fair. I just didn't agree with Bud Black taking him out of the game there, and I understand why he did it. I just felt like the Rockies are in a place right now. You're not playing for a postseason. You're trying to build some confidence in some of your guys. Gomber hasn't had the season that he wanted. I would have loved to have seen him get a complete game, 1 earned run, gem of a ball game against a good team like the Braves. I think that tells you, in a pitcher like Austin Gomber, that, hey, I know I've still got that in me, and I just proved it. Because he knows that. Austin Gomber knows that he can throw well. And he just proved it. And again, it doesn't take away from the fact that he went 8 innings and pitched phenomenal baseball. But I think if you give him that extra 9 inning, it's like taking Paul Skeens out when he had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning. I'm like, I get it. I understand on paper that that's probably the right move to go. But maybe I'm just nostalgic in the game of baseball. Let the dude get his no-hitter in Paul Skeens' case. And in Gomber's case, let him get the complete game or let him at least earn it. Give him that 1 extra batter in the 9th inning. So I disagreed with Bud Black, and I really actually don't disagree with a lot of things that Bud Black does from a managerial standpoint, because I think he's got a tall task of managing this very challenging Rockies rotation. I disagreed with that one. I also didn't really love putting Tyler Kinley in there to close. Why not give Seth Halverson a chance? And yes, I know Seth Halverson just pitched, but if you're looking at him possibly being in your closer role, that's a role where you're going to see a guy pitching a couple times in a series. And Halverson didn't throw a lot in the game before that. So Tyler Kinley isn't your closer moving forward. He's kind of filling that role right now because Vodnik's out. We all know that Kinley's had some issues in the ninth inning. I would have loved to have seen the 1-2 punch of Austin Gomber going 8 innings pitched with 6 strikeouts, 1 earned run, getting you through the 8th inning, and then Seth Halverson coming in and going 3 up, 3 down, closing the door. That would have made me all tingly inside for Rockies fans. So I'm not, again, nothing against Tyler Kinley. I just would have rather seen Seth Halverson out there. I understand him not pitching. I had some people in my comments on Twitter saying, why didn't he go with Jaden Hill? You really? You want to give Jaden Hill his MLB debut in a 2-run game against some of the best hitters in baseball on the Braves in the 9th inning? And I know Hill probably would have wanted to go, but let's just say Hill comes in and he gives up 3 quick runs and he blows a save for the Rockies in his MLB debut. That tanks a guy's confidence. So to the people in my comments saying you should have given Jaden Hill the chance to close that game out and his MLB debut. No. I know his family was there. I know his friends were there. Don't do that to the kid. Let him set him up for success here. And again, that's not me doubting Jaden Hill's ability. He could have came in there and struck out the side and it would have soared his confidence. But you don't do that to a guy who's making his MLB debut in a moment where you only have a 2-run lead against one of the best teams in baseball when they're healthy, and a pitcher who just went 8 innings pitched of phenomenal baseball in Austin Gomber. You do that to Seth Halverson, who's had a couple outings at least under his belt. But either way, Tyler Kinley did get the save. Austin Gomber picked up the win. I wanted to go back to Seth Halverson, though, here for a moment before we transition. Seth Halverson, on a side note, now that we've seen him a few times at the big league level, we've gotten to see some of the pitching analytics come through. We've gotten to use some of the high-end tech equipment that can actually judge, how much movement there are on his pitches and what his spin rate is, all that kind of stuff. And Seth Halverson's fastball averages out about 101 miles an hour. That's great. We'll take that. Very good. But the kicker for me is that his fastball averages 101 miles per hour with 15 inches of horizontal break and 11 inches of vertical break. That is disgusting. That's disgusting. I don't envy Drew Romo, who has to sit behind home plate and get his thumb broken every single night by a 101 mile an hour fastball that breaks the length of a ruler. Like that is incredible. I didn't throw 101 miles an hour by any means when I was pitching, but I was blessed with some natural movement on my fastball. That's why I could get away with throwing 88 miles an hour and getting guys to roll over on a fastball that was very hittable, because at the last second my fastball would tail off, shoot down, and you kind of didn't really know where it was going to go. Seth Halverson feels like the jacked up version of that. You throw 101 miles an hour and you can locate it pretty well, but you don't know where that last little bit of tail or cut is going to go on that fastball because your spin rate is so high. That is devastating to hitters. And Drew Romo is an incredible defensive catcher to hang on to those pitches behind the plate as well, which is important. But I truly think that Seth Halverson is going to be an absolute weapon for this Rockies back end of their bullpen, if not their closer, depending on what Victor Vodnik does. I was hoping to see Victor Vodnik last night in Hartford. Didn't pitch that way. He's going to probably pitch tonight in Hartford. So we'll see. He's still recovering. Again, that 1-2 punch, though, of Vodnik and Halverson out of the bullpen, flip-flopping between who's going to be the closer, who can earn that closer spot. Woo, that makes me excited. I love talking about positive bullpen things for the Rockies. Speaking of negative pitching things for the Braves, at least, Ronaldo Lopez, this is a bummer for him, set a career high for strikeouts in one game. He had 16 strikeouts yesterday, and he got the loss. That sucks. Good on the Rockies for playing well, but I mean they only scored 3 runs, thanks to Tolia and Tovar with a couple home runs. But it reminds me of Chris Sale back in 2019 when he struck out 17 guys in one game against the Rockies and also lost that game. So the Rockies have a tendency of like saying, hey, we're going to strike out a ton, but in the games that we strike out the most, maybe we'll still pick up a win. Tolia went yard, 451-foot home run. Good to see him getting his power back. We haven't seen a home run out of Tolia in a few days. Tovar went yard, his 22nd home run on the season. Tied for first on the team with, I believe, with Doyle, if I'm remembering that correctly. But going back to strikeouts. Strikeouts are an issue for the Rockies right now. And it's unfortunate to me because I think it's one of the few things that I can put a knock on this coaching staff for. Strikeouts are a coaching issue because the Rockies have shown that they have guys that can compete offensively. We've got some good hitters on the team. Tovar, McMahon, Brenton Doyle, Tolia, even Charlie Blackmon has shown that he can still hit pretty well. The Rockies are not a bad hitting team. Nolan Jones too when he's getting hot. But the Rockies have set a season record for most strikeouts in a year in franchise history with 1,000. Well, they're on pace to do that, I should say. They're on pace for 1,605 strikeouts this season. Last year, they set their single-season record for most strikeouts in a season with 1,543 strikeouts. Those are not good records to be setting for the Colorado Rockies. They've had 42 strikeouts in the series against the Braves. 16 of those came last night. And again, I go back to this is a coaching problem. And the reason I say that is because we have shown that we have good hitters, good enough, guys that shouldn't be striking out like that. When it comes to the lineup that's being put together on the field, I blame the front office. That's why I take a lot of the blame off the shoulders of Bud Black and put that more on the shoulders of the front office. But when it comes to how the players that you do have out there are competing, especially when they've shown that they are competent hitters, very competent hitters, that's when I start putting that on the hitting coach, and in turn put that on Bud Black because he's responsible for the coaching staff. So the strikeout ratio, the strikeout percentage that the Rockies have has to be addressed moving forward. Because if the Rockies we all know are trying to fix their bullpen. But we can't have a team that has a bullpen that needs fixing, an offensive lineup that needs fixing, and a defensive lineup that needs fixing. You know, and we've said that the defensive side of things is not the issue for the Rockies. They could be possibly a Gold Glove infield, and a full Gold Glove infield in the coming years if they continue progressing the way they're going. Their outfield could have multiple Gold Gloves in it. Drew Romo could very well be a Gold Glove catcher behind the plate in the coming years. Like, this defense is good. The hitters have not really ever been the issue, although on the road they have had some pretty bad numbers. But the strikeouts needs to be addressed moving forward. So we got to keep an eye on that as we continue over the coming years, and also in the coming months as well. But hey, we got to give a shout out right now to our friends over at ZBiotic. It's the weekend, guys. It's Friday. Oh, it's almost the weekend. It's Friday. We've got some big parties coming up in front of us, too. We've got the DNVR Buffs tailgate that's going to be happening. We've got the Broncos parties, all of that happening at the DNVR bar, right? That's happening here at the bar? Oh, it's going to be so fun. I'm going to be here all weekend. I'm literally, should I bring like a mattress and some pillows to like stay here?
Yeah. But you could do what some other people have done and just sleep in the hangout room.
Yeah, like just pass out on the couch, wake up, do it again the next day. It's going to be a great time. No matter what, we're going to be having some good drinks downstairs at the bar. We're going to be having a great time. And it's important to remember when you go out drinking with friends, going out on the town, you want to prepare yourself for that, especially as you get a little older like me. It's harder to bounce back from that. You know, you go out and you throw a couple back, and you want to be able to get up and do that again the next day in a healthy way. And with ZBiotics pre-alcohol, it makes it so much easier for you to bounce back quicker. When you get some pre-alcohol in your system before you go out drinking with friends, it just makes the recovery time so much smoother for me. And so I know we've already been out here distributing some ZBiotic pre-alcohol in the office because we already know we're going to be having a good time this weekend, guys, starting tonight. And so it's important to get a head start. Basically, what ZBiotics pre-alcohol is it's the first genetically engineered prebiotic. It's invented by PhD scientists to tackle the rough mornings after drinking. It tackles that kind of toxic byproduct that's in your gut. The pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break that byproduct down. So remember, when you're planning to have fun this weekend, make ZBiotics pre-alcohol your first drink of the night before you go out. Drink responsibly. You'll feel your best the next day. Make the most out of the rest of your summer. Stock up on pre-alcohol now. Head over to zbiotics.com/DNVR Rockies to get 15% off your first order. They are backed with 100% money back guarantee. So if you are unsatisfied for any reason, they'll give you your money back. No questions asked. Remember, that's zbiotics.com/DNVR Rockies to get 15% off your first order. Thank you, ZBiotics, for sponsoring this podcast and for sponsoring our Good Times. Speaking of good times, you know what goes great with good times is a cold, refreshing Coors Light. It is such a good combination with anything. We were talking about going out and having a good time this weekend. Coors Light is just the perfect fit for your weekend out. Whether you're going out to the park with some friends and enjoying some drinks, with some buddies. Whether you're going to some baseball games, going tailgating out for the DNVR Broncos tailgate, coming to the bar here. Got to make it a Coors Light day. Embrace that chill mindset. Wait till those mountains turn blue. That is the best way to do it. It is just the most refreshing thing ever. I was actually at the Renaissance Fair, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whenever it was still happening. It was so hot out there, and we were having a great time, but it was like, it felt like 1,000 degrees. And I remember we came across a stand that had some Coors Light, and it was the most refreshing thing ever to me. So yeah, make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instant Cart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Woo, we're rolling. Thank you. I know it's Friday show. It's third show of the week, back to back. We had Labor Day on Monday, so our shows got pushed back to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and doing these solo shows 3 days in a row, it's great. I always love hanging with you guys, but man, it takes a toll on my voice. Yeah. It's getting me ready for broadcasting season.
Yeah, for sure. You need a little hot water, lemon honey. Yeah. Soothe the voice. I know Kale, our super producer, Kale, he's come down with a little cold himself. The cold weather shows up, and it's that time of year. It's getting tough, and I always know I'm in the middle of football season now, or I'm right in the thick of football season doing football broadcasts. But especially come basketball season, when I'm doing basketball games, I do 2, sometimes 3 games a week sometimes, and by the end of that week, I'm like, I don't want to speak anymore. I'm like, my voice is just gone. So we're hanging in there. You're just like sitting at home and you just think about it. You're like, I haven't said a word.
And it's a great thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like the greatest feeling
But
ever.
It's weird because when I know I have a broadcast, like last year, we have one of my good friends. He's I think one of his best childhood friends. Is Devon Taves' wife. So we get really good Avs tickets, a lot throughout the season. And so we'll be sitting 6 rows back from the glass. And I remember we got to go to a Red Wings Avs game last year. And it was it's always a great game when it's the Red Wings and the Avs. And I remember it was the day before a pretty big broadcast. I think I was doing an Air Force Boise State game with Altitude, and I just remember realizing in the first period as I'm getting all fired up, I need to chill. I can't cheer right now, otherwise I'm not going to have a voice tomorrow. And because I've had that a couple times where I get so fired up and worked up, watching a game or going to a Broncos game or whatever, and then I can't speak the next day because my voice is just gone. I'm like, this is my job. I have to be able to talk tomorrow. And so I'm sitting there at an Avs game, just golf clapping because I can't, getting fired up inside because I can't let it out. It's a weird thing. So I might give my voice a break this weekend, although that's going to be hard. We've got some good games on the slate this weekend, but
let's get you an air horn.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure everyone would love that.
Yeah.
In the bar, just walking up to Nebraska fans, just playing the air horn right in their ear. They would love that. Exactly. I actually don't think there will be a single Nebraska fan in this bar. That would be very bold of them.
It would be. It wouldn't be the first time I have seen that boldness.
It would be dangerous. Not that, but there's some tension between those fan bases right now. Always, yes, but especially right now. I think the Coach Prime effect just elevates the energy, positive and negative, for both sides, where people are just like ready to go. So it's going to be wild at the bar this weekend. Let's jump back into the Rockies here and go all the way back, actually, a couple levels to Double-A. The Hartford Yard Goats, Chase Dollander, is just unreal right now in Double-A. He is throwing gem after gem. He has 7 strikeouts in his game yesterday, allowed two runs or fewer for the 9th time in his last 10 starts. That's unbelievable. He is top 5 prospect in MLB right now. He's got a 1.65 ERA over his last 8 starts, with opponents hitting 179 in their batting average, and he's averaging 11.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. And I know people are saying, like, why are we not seeing him up here in the bigs yet? Why have we not seen him in a Rockies uniform? And there's a chance, but we got to remember that there's a lot of minor league teams, and actually I think all of our minor league teams. You'll have to check me on that. But I think all of our minor league teams right now are currently about to compete in their division playoffs. I know Spokane is. I know Hartford is. I know Albuquerque is. And I think that's probably why we're going to see Dollander not get the call up just yet. We're going to see him in spring training next year, but he's going to be pitching for a playoff spot, for a championship here in just a few days. And Dollander, we love seeing him do so well in the minors. But I have to remind us of what I said just a few minutes ago, which was try not to get too hyped up on the numbers. Although they are exciting and worth being excited about, he is doing his job. He's doing exactly what we're expecting him to do. But I want to see him in a Rockies uniform. I really do. I really want to see him, pitch at Coors Field sometimes this year. And I was saying to Hank, yesterday before my show, that maybe it's something that we see the Rockies do in a way of getting some tickets. This is the dog days of September, and when you're a team that's not competing for anything, the attendance is down at Coors Field compared to this time of year in years past. I mean, this is one of the lowest attendance percentages we've seen in Coors Field in years, and I think the losses are starting to pile up on Rockies fans. And there's some other great sports and other great teams that are in the state that are taking a lot of attention away from the Rockies, and so I think it could be something where they say, hey, it's Dollander's first start at Coors Field, and put some fans in the stands. It could be something like that, although that's not really how Bud Black will manage the team. But I think that's something we could see. So good to see him doing well, though, in this minor league wrap up. Let's quickly preview the series before we get into some MLB stuff next. But the Brewers and the Rockies going head to head here. Rockies probably getting into Milwaukee at like 1 a.m. So it's going to be a brutal day for them, although they're used to that at this point. But it's going to be a tough series. Brewers are very good. They are dominating that NL Central. They're 9 games up over the Cubs. You got Feltner versus Montas tonight. It's just going to be, hopefully some good baseball, and the Rockies are in a place where you're not really spoiling anything because the Brewers are up by 9 games over the Cubs, but you're trying to just play, end on a positive note here as we move forward. So Feltner, Montas going head to head tonight, Brewers and the Rockies. And the Brewers, we get a chance to see a team that's going to be in the postseason. So, I know we're going to be pretty much transitioning into an MLB podcast here come postseason time, with the Rockies not being in the postseason. So it's going to be our first real look, in Milwaukee of what we're going to see out of the Brewers here in the coming weeks. But yeah, that'll be a fun series. I'm excited for it. And then they wrap up against the Detroit Tigers. And the Detroit Tigers, that is a team to keep an eye on. We're going to talk about them here in a moment. But before we do, got to recognize one of our sponsors, Westera Credit Union. Westera Credit Union, they're all about helping their members financially prosper, which you love to see that, because that's really why you'd get involved with the credit union. And for Westera, education is really their number one thing. They were started by a group of 8 local school teachers that really got involved in this because helping and helping educate people on finances was just part of their DNA. So as a member, you kind of get that feeling in every single one of your interactions with Westera Credit Union. It's all about the local community with these guys. So they've got a couple different features, some great opportunities with helping manage your money. Their smart money checking account is awesome for people who just kind of want those small balances to earn big returns, and some of these smaller credit unions really have some great deals, and Westera is really premium with that. You can earn up to 6% annual percentage yield on your first $2,000 each month. That's up to $120 per year. So some good bounce backs, and it really helps you to make the most out of your money. And so get involved with Westera Credit Union. If you like earning money by doing the little things that you're already doing with your checking account, visit westeracu.com/smartmoney for more details. Membership eligibility required, insured by NCUA. Restrictions and conditions apply. I also got to give a shout out to Toyota. Toyota, they have just the best vehicles on the market. I cannot say enough about Toyota. I look into our parking lot behind DNVR, and it's like a whole parking lot of Toyotas because they are that good. We all love our Toyotas that we drive. I've got a 2007 Toyota Highlander. My mom's got a 2000 whatever, some newer Toyota Tacoma, jacked up a little bit, tinted windows, all blacked out. She has the most badass truck in the family. I've got some ground to cover catching up to my mom's pretty sweet Toyota Tacoma, but I grew up driving a Toyota Camry. I love their sleek new Toyota Camrys. They look like sports cars. They are so sick. And so whatever you're into, whether you're into the kind of sporty Camrys, whether you're into the off-roading, all-wheel drive cars like the Highlander, like the RAV4, their SUVs, their Tacomas, their 4Runners, they have anything that you could want. The Toyota also offers some zero-emission vehicles, and they have more low or zero emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. They've got, hybrid vehicles like the Tundra iForce Max hybrid truck. So many good opportunities and options that you have. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR and the Colorado Rockies. Well, we got to bring you back. I'm going to take you all the way back to the year that my wife was born, not the year that I was born, because she's a couple years older than me. And that was the year of 1995. On this day in 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. took a victory lap around the field after playing his 2,131st consecutive game. That's a huge number for Cal Ripken Jr. And something that I don't think we'll ever see again. It's crazy to me because it's one of those stats. We always hear these conversations of like, what are the stats that are going to be something that we'll never see happen again? And it's a conversation we'll probably have in the offseason when we've got not a lot to talk about, but that's one of those stats that I don't think we will ever see again, given the way that baseball has progressed and transitioned. Today, I don't think we're ever going to see someone play 2,131 consecutive days in a row. I mean, there are guys that play, I don't know, a good chunk of games in a row, but, it's 162 games. Managers are realizing that it's a grind. It's a marathon, let alone to play 2,131 consecutive games in a row. So that's crazy to me and impressive. So I wanted to really just shed some light on a record that will probably never be broken ever again. But let's wrap things up here with these last couple segments. First of all, we always do an Around the MLB segment to finish off the show. Right now, giving you some topics from around Major League Baseball, starting with Anthony Rizzo. He's making his return to Wrigley Field for the first time as a Yankees player to play the Cubs. I know he had a lot of very prominent memories. I know our CHGO crew is going to love to see him back in the dugout at Wrigley Field. There's some history between these two teams as well, the Cubs and the Yankees. Both teams competing for a postseason. The Yankees more so than the Cubs. The Cubs got some work to do to pick up that last wild card spot, but that's going to be a fun game to keep an eye on. On the negative side of MLB, the Angels will finish under 500 for the 9th season in a row. And that's tough. I mean, you think we've got it bad with the Rockies, and if you're an Angels fan, oh my gosh, 9 seasons of losing baseball in a row. We've only got 6 here. Bud Black, only 6 losing seasons in a row. 9 under the same manager as well for the Angels. So tough look to be an Angels fan. They did just host Shohei Ohtani. Some bittersweet moment for the fans out there in Anaheim as they got to see, probably the greatest asset they will ever have in an Angels uniform back on their field, but this time playing for the most hated team in baseball in the Dodgers. Let's talk Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers, Parker Meadows. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Parker Meadows, the Tigers were down to their last out in the 9th inning, down by 3, their last strike to the Padres, and with 2 outs, 2 strikes, a 3-2 count, bases loaded, Parker Meadows with the Detroit Tigers hits a go-ahead grand slam that encapsulates the absolute tear that the Detroit Tigers have been on in this past half of a season. They are competing for a playoff spot right now, and to do that against the Padres, unbelievable. And I mean, anytime you hit a go-ahead or walk-off home run of any kind, it's huge. But to hit a go-ahead grand slam, I've seen that happen only once. And it was the same situation. It was in Sacramento. I was going to a Sacramento River Cats game against the Indianapolis Indians with my grandma. This is a few years back. And Tyler Rogers, who is now a San Francisco Giant, the submarine guy with the San Francisco Giants, brother Taylor Rogers, twins. And Tyler Rogers goes up there. He's got 2 strikes, bases loaded, and the Indianapolis Indians hit a go-ahead grand slam in the bottom of the 9th inning against the Sacramento River Cats to take the lead, and they ended up winning that ball game. That was insane for me. It's one of those things, though, you rarely ever see, and it's just chaos when you see it. So Detroit Tigers, they are must-watch baseball right now, and the Rockies happen to be playing them in a week, or in less than a week. So yeah, watch out for the Tigers. They're going to be fun to watch when they play the Rockies. I wanted to kind of wrap things up here, though, by talking about some teams that we're going to be seeing in the postseason and going down the rankings of the top 5 postseason bullpens that we're expecting to see right now. We'll go from 5, so, bottom, the lowest ranking, to 1 being the best ranked bullpen. Starting with the 5th ranked bullpen that I think we're going to see in this postseason this year, which is the Dodgers. And the Dodgers, their bullpen has been in and out this year with some injuries. Obviously, your starting pitching has had some injuries too. Clayton Kershaw coming back into the starting pitchers rotation, but they've got a lot of options. Michael Kolpick, he was a great addition on the trade deadline for the Dodgers, filling into that closer role. But I just don't see them having the depth and the skill that we've seen in some of these other bullpens. So I rank them at 5 of bullpens that we're going to see in the top 5 this postseason. Phillies, our friends over at PHLY, their back end of the bullpen is kind of iffy to me, but overall, they're a pretty good bullpen. Estevez, another great pickup at that trade deadline, so I expect them to be a very potent bullpen that we're going to see in this postseason. And then the Brewers. The Brewers, we're playing them here tonight, starting tonight. But the Brewers bullpen reminds me a lot of the Rockies. And I've said this the last 2 shows. They're an island of misfit toys. They're a bunch of guys that have been DFA'd. They've been, cast aside by their former teams, picked up by the Brewers. And the Brewers have done a great job of just finding ways to make them work. Everyone besides Devin Williams, who's just a dude on his own. But everyone else is just kind of that like, surprise bullpen that has come alive, and it gives teams like us, gives teams like the Rockies hope. The hope that you can put things together in a year like next year or the season after that, when you're probably still not going to have any huge standout pitchers that are going to be, the next Paul Skeens. You're probably not going to have those guys on your team. So if we can continue to take after teams like the Brewers or the Rangers last year or the Diamondbacks, where you just put together an island of misfit toys that turn out to be a bunch of all-stars, I'll take it. And the Brewers are very similar to that. They've got the 3rd ranking on my postseason bullpens. Coming in at number 2, and these guys could very much be number 1, the Padres. They have 4 dominant pitchers in their bullpen that can consistently get you out any given night. You throw any four of some of their bullpen guys out there, they'll get you out. They are a lights out bullpen. They unfortunately didn't show it against the Tigers last night, giving up the go-ahead grand slam. But other than that, they have lots of quality options. And I heard this said by Don Orsillo, the legendary Don Orsillo, on the broadcast the other day, that your starting pitchers only need to get through 6 innings, and if you can keep your team in it through 6 innings, your bullpen's got the rest of the way. By God, wouldn't that be nice for the Rockies? Can we just take a moment to just imagine how amazing that would be if we could have a bullpen like the Padres have? So I put them at number 2. Number 1, though, the Guardians. The Guardians, they've got a combination of velocity, off-speed pitchers. They've got, guys like Clase who can back it up in the closer role to wrap everything up. This Guardians bullpen is just incredible. And I fully expect them to dominate. Another one of those teams where your starting pitchers only need to go through like 6 innings and you're rolling with your bullpen. So that's going to be my top 5 bullpens going into the season. Dodgers 5, Phillies 4, Brewers 3, Padres 2, Guardians 1. We got postseason baseball coming up here soon, guys. It is, what day is it? September 6th. It's the 6th of September. We've got less than a month before we start seeing some postseason baseball. And that NL West race, our NL West race, is the most exciting race in all of baseball. It's just incredible baseball. Incredible time to be a baseball fan right now. But look, we've got some great sports, some great events coming up this weekend. That's going to do it for us on the show. But if you're in town, if you're around the area, you've got to stop by the DNVR bar this weekend. Tomorrow, we've got the DNVR Buffs, Buffaloes versus the Nebraska Cornhuskers. That's going to be taking place. Do we know what time the tailgate or what time the festivities kick off? I know we've been getting a million messages about it all day, so I should be on top of this. But the festivities are going to be incredible. And I know we've got a couple other teams going on as well. Let's see. CSU football. What time CSU football playing? I think they play UNC, so that might not be as action-packed, excuse me, as the CU and they're playing. UNC and CSU are playing tomorrow at 5. Probably not as action-packed as I would expect the CU-Nebraska game to be. But for the Buffs and the Cornhuskers, that's a primetime game that's going to be a lot of fun. So go on to our Twitter, DNVR Rockies. We've got some information up there. You can also just go on to our DNVR Buffs account as well. They've got all the information out there. Yeah, that's going to be a ton of fun. And then Sunday, NFL games. We've got the Broncos taking on the Seahawks in their opener of the season. We get to see Bo Nix out there playing an entire football game. God, I cannot wait. It is a great time to be a sports fan. And then the Rockies wrapping up our sports coverage this week with some good games, hopefully against the Brewers. We're going to have you coverage. We're going to have you set with coverage all weekend on the DNVR_Rockies on Twitter, or following me on Twitter as well at CJJ Saez. Tiff, you got something for us? You
have another show later.
I do.
Yeah.
TDSP.
Make sure you catch Christian on TDSP later.
Yeah, I almost forgot. It's a jam-packed day for me. I'm just going home. No, I'm not. Harrison would be unfortunate. He'd be probably pretty upset. So we're going to stick around. Catch us on TDSP later today at 1:45 is, I believe, when we're doing that show. So thanks as always for hanging out with us, tuning in this week. It's been a jam-packed week, and we love getting to spend our week with you as the fan, Rockies fans and beyond. This has been the DNVR Rockies Podcast, brought to you by Bet365. We will see you guys on Monday.
We all silly like the mayor.